I guess let's look at doing members now. For moderating members, I was thinking about doing a bottom sheet, but I think I'm going to do a full page. Um, yeah. So something I want to do first. So I want to add an additional functionality in here. Let me go back to my pages here. Go down to groups and go to group page. So I want to be able to silence a member, but not necessarily delete them or ban them from the group, but I want to be able to prevent them from being able to make a post or being able to comment on a post. So I need to add an additional field over here into groups. And I'm just going to call it silenced members. There's a reference tag. And it'll be a list, and then we'll do document reference to users. Let me do a couple of things here real quick. Do a reload. Okay. All right, so let's go back over here to moderate group. Actually, let's go back to the group page and go ahead and take care of this first. So I want to set a conditional visibility on here. And I want to find the silence members reference. And do list contains item, and then we'll do authenticated user. Do the user reference. Okay, and then we'll switch that to the opposite statement that way. So long as this list does not contain authenticated user, then this button will be visible. I'm going to copy that. And we want to add that to comments, but we don't want to add it to this button. We still want them to be able to go view comments, but we just don't want them to be able to make comments. And since where did I put that? That's right. Our comments feed is singular across the entire app. So we can't not be able to do that. Okay. Let's see here. Well, all right. Let me look here. Because that's post related, that's not necessarily assigned. So the reason that won't work is because it's not, this page isn't just isolated to a group. All it's referencing is the post. It's not referencing the group. So assigning that conditional value will not work there. So what I could do is I could create another comment page specifically for group posts. I don't really feel like going through the process of doing that, to be honest with you. So I'm just gonna put it here. And so we're just going to, don't really want that to move. Well, all right, we'll just put it as a conditional. well, just for sake of ease in this tutorial, we're just going to do it that way. All right, so as long as that user is not in that particular list within a group, then this button and the comments button will be visible. Otherwise, they won't be able to make a post or comment. And if you want to leave it like as a shadow ban type thing, then you would make no indication to that user that they've been banned or silenced from being able to make any sort of posts. If you want to give them an indication that they've been silenced, you could send it to them through an in-app notification or a push notification, or you could have something in the page itself that says you've been silenced and you can't make any posts or whatever. But I may set that up with notifications later. I'm not going to do anything actually on the page itself. All right, so let's go back to moderate here. So we need to set up a page for members to be able to moderate them. And let's see. Let's do a tabbed list. I think that'll be best. We can use a pre-made if we want to here. I don't know which one I want to use. I guess I'll just build it from scratch. Just do it that way. Okay, that'll work. And let's go ahead and change the background on this. Reduce the size here. Okay. All right. So that'll work there. As previously noted, you don't want this to be a scrollable column, so we'll leave that turned off. And we're just going to go ahead and drop a tab list in here, or a tab bar, and then we'll just kind of scoot it down a little bit, and then we can get rid of these text fields in here. And we're going to kind of delegate these. We're going to put these as active, put these as silenced, and we'll do this one as banned. We'll have to put that into. We'll have to put another data field into our collection to have a banned section, which we'll get to that in a minute. Let's go ahead and change this stuff around here. Oops. Okay. All right. So now we need to get a list view in here. Now we do need to be pulling data from our group. So let's go ahead and set up the navigation back here. And let's do a slide left on it, and let's pass our group parameter in there. All right, and then let's drop this into the groups here. And then we can go ahead and query that parameter we just passed in. All right, now we can work with it. So now I am going to go ahead and I'm going to grab list view and drop that in there, and I will move it down slightly. So what I want to do, I want to utilize, let's go up here. I want to utilize the slidable list tile in here because I want to be able to slide that thing to the left and have some options of what to do with that user. So that I can quickly do a silence or quickly do a ban on them or whatever. Or additional edits. We'll see what I want to put in there. But the slidable list tile, just throw it up in there real quick. As you can see it, and maybe somebody knows a better way to do this, and if they do, by all means, please let me know. But it's the best way I've found. As you can see, the slidable list tile does not have a place to put a picture. It's just text. And I would like to have a picture of the user in there to help identify them. So a couple of ways you can do this. There's one way that doesn't really look very good, where I would do, let's see here, let me just try and explain it real quick. So this method would not be the most ideal method. So this would be placing a row in here, and then I could do an image. I'll do a circle image, and we'll make that smaller, like 45. And if you try and place a slidable list tile into a row, it'll error out. You can't do that. So what you would want to do first is drop a container in here, and then adjust its size down just a little bit. And then instead of doing infinite on full width, you would just do expansion here and expand it to take up the entire row. And then within that container, you can actually go in and drop your slidable list tile. So you can do it that way. But again, that's not ideal, and here's why. If I open the slide, you'll see that the letters, it's kind of hard to tell with that picture. Let me change the text color here. There we go. You can kind of see it. You see that the letters go over the top of the picture there, which is not extremely attractive professional wise. You can kind of see it there. So a better way to do that then, just get rid of all this. Is I'm actually going to I'm going to drop a container in here. I'm going to bring it down slightly. I'm going to shrink it up a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to do a stack instead of a row. So I'll put a stack inside that container. So now I have a top and bottom. And then I'll put, as my start, I'm going to put my my slidable tile here so that it's on the bottom, technically. And then I will grab a photo and do a round photo and drop it in there on top. Oh, I need to go into the stack. There we go. All right, so I'll go into the stack here and I'll drop my photo down here. So round, there we go, circle photo. And now you can see that this is underneath there. Actually, I'm gonna, instead of doing a circle, I'm gonna do a square. Like that. And then I'm gonna make that a little bit smaller. Set that up in there like that. Okay. And then I may, let's see here, round the edges a little bit on this photo. Okay. Grab my stack here. So I just clicked right here in the middle of vertical alignment because I want the photo and the list tile within the stack to be sitting even with each other, as you could see before. Which, let me see if I can get it back. So you can see that the photo is like off center from the list tile. So right now I have stack highlighted, and I'm just going to click right in the middle of vertical alignment for the default child vertical alignment within the stack. So that evens everything up. Now I need to grab here, and I could just move this thing over all the way to the left of the horizontal alignment. All right, so now things are looking even here, but as you can see, this list tile is extending all the way to the left. So we want to bump it over some. We can do padding for that. Let's see. Let's try 75. That's pretty close. Maybe 70 would be better. Yeah, 70 will work. All right, so now I've got a photo in here of which I don't really want it resting right up against the edge there. So I'm going to go to my top level container here, and I'm going to bring that in some. Give it a little bit of space, and I think I'll just leave it up against the edge on the outside, on the right side. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so now I've got my slidable list tile here with a photo that I can begin working with for that user. And of course, once I generate a list, it'll go down. I am going to change the color here, or not the color, I'm sorry, the size of the text. I don't know if I'll use that subtext or not. But that gives me something to work with in here, so that's good. Okay. So now I want to go ahead and generate my query, and I'm going to do the dynamic child query so that I can query the members list from that group. I'll do group members active. Let's just do it that way for easy reference points. And then we'll go to the groups documents, and then we're going to grab members reference and map list, item and list, and no further changes. Okay, so now we're getting a list. And then I'm going to go to my container that's containing this stack here. And I'm going to do a reference to grab that specific user. So document from reference, users, and then that'll be the group members active item. And now I can plug their photo in here and their name. Do title as their display name. And yeah, I'm not going to do anything with the subtitle right now. It's not really necessary, so just do their display name. I might actually make that just a little bit smaller. Okay. Smaller too. All right, so now we're getting the information that we want in here. So you can see here if I open it. So now you can see when I open the list tile, the tile slides behind the picture rather than on top of it. So that's what we want. And then in these options, whenever it slides open, so I might want to do like some quick options here. I could do like a silence button. Which may just change that to mute. I'll just leave that. And then I could add another option here. This could be like a ban button, ban user. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. My color codes. And then I could do an additional if I wanted to, another option here. Maybe just like view. Oops. No. So with those options, then I'll be able to go in here and do some quick edits on here, and then I could have a full kind of view, which I'll show you what I'm intending to do with that in just a second. Now I am going to change the color here. I believe since I have a, I want to check something. Okay. I'm just going to leave that. It's white. I'm going to go to my container. And I'm going to kind of make it an off-white here. So now you can see that's changed that to kind of an off-white color. Let's see what it looks like if we give it some elevation. Yeah, I like the way that looks. All right, so that'll work. So now we can start working within what we need to do there. I am going to get that off the edge just a little bit. There we go. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to go back to my container, which I had pulled out by 6 on the left. I'm going to go ahead and stack it right up against the edge. Then I'm going to pull this photo over by 6. There we go. Okay, that looks better. All right, so now we need to start working with this this list here to to assign function to these buttons here. Okay, so we will work with the silence button first. So for the silence button, then we can just add an action to it to update the group. And then we can grab that data field for silenced members reference, add the set, and then we'd add that user. Okay, so that's how we'd add them in there. Let me close this. And then I'm going to grab the container that's, oops, okay, I got it. That's containing all of this. And we do need to set some conditional values here. And we're actually going to have to set multiple conditions. So we're going to do combined conditions. So we'll start with the first one, which would be, go to groups document, and silence members reference, list contains item, and we would do the group members active item here, and we'd set that to the opposite statement. So we want them to show up in here if they are not in silence members. And we're going to do or conditions. So let's see here. Actually, we want to change this. Let me start over. All right, so we do want to do multiple conditions. And the first condition, so the first set of conditions is actually going to be an additional multiple condition. It can get kind of confusing if you're not careful. So this first set group, then we want to do silenced members reference, list contains item, and user here. Set that as an opposite statement. And we want to leave this as and I don't, crap, I didn't create a band data field. So, all right, let me jump over here and take care of that first. Okay, now we can do this. All right, conditions, combined conditions. Start with this first one, conditions, combined conditions. Groups, silence members, list contains item, user reference here, opposite statement, and groups, band members reference, list contains item, user reference, opposite statement, confirm. All right, so that's our first condition, and then we want to do an or. Oops. Yeah, that's right. I need to set that as a single condition. Number is not equal to variable authenticated user. There we go. Okay. So long as they are not in the banned users list and they're not in the silenced users list, they will show up here, or so long as they're not the authenticated user. It'll show up here. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. So conditional visibility can get really confusing, and it even gets, I mean, it still confuses me sometimes. I get kind of twisted up in what I'm trying to do with it, especially whenever you start dealing with a lot of different variables of what you're wanting to achieve. Okay, so now when this button is pressed, it'll, once we go over here and add the list view for these, it'll remove this, or I shouldn't say remove, it'll hide this user from the active list and it'll put them into the silence list. Same thing with band. And then this is something different. So let's go ahead and add an action on this. So that'll update groups document, band member. Oops. Whoops, getting ahead of myself here. We want to update the group, data field, band members, add to set, and add that user. There we go. That's what we want. Okay, and then we'll come back to that here in a bit. All right, so now I'm just going to copy this list view. I'm going to go over here, I'm going to paste it in this next section here. Okay, and then let's grab our container, make sure our reference point and everything is still correct. Okay, it is. And then let's make sure this is still pulling their name. Okay, still pulling their picture. Okay. All right, so now let's see here. We want to change this. Oops. Run silence. I think I'll change that icon over here. Make it more consistent. There we go. That looks better. Come on now. And then we would change this. Remove from set. Okay. All right. So let's close that real quick. And we'll want to get on the container here and go into the conditions. And we want to change, let's see here, silence members reference, so we want them to be in that list. So long as they are in the silence list and are not in the banned list, or so long as it is not the authenticated user, then they will show up in the silenced list. And then we can go over here, drop this in here. And actually, can get rid of that. And we're going to get rid of that one. We're only going to have this here. Okay. All right. And then we want to, well, first of all, we want to go to our list view and we want to change this to band. And let's see here. We want to remove from set. Okay. Container. And then let's see here. Silenced members. I don't want to do that. Yeah. As long as they're not in silenced members, but they are in the band members. And they will show up here. Okay.